Welcome to Find Myself Free, the podcast. I'm Ellie Young, alcohol-free life coach, mom, and athlete. I'm dedicated to helping others change their relationship to alcohol by sharing my journey of transformation. Fascinated by my own capacity for change after decades of gray area drinking, I'm passionate about sharing what I've learned from neuroscience and positive psychology to help you break free from the drinking cycle and unlock your true potential. Hear my personal stories of triumph and struggle as I navigate raising two boys, finding myself after 40, building a business, and doing it all alcohol free. From women's health and cycle syncing to fasting and biohacking, this podcast is your roadmap to a healthier, purpose filled life that starts with changing your relationship to alcohol. It's time to embrace change, find balance, and create the life you were meant for. Welcome to Find Myself Free. Hello, and welcome back to Find Myself Free, the podcast. My name is Ellie Young, and I am really excited to talk about a topic near and dear to my heart today. It is all about how do we stay motivated, engaged, and inspired when you are going through a change, when you are desiring some sort of positive change for yourself, and you are initially like fired up about it. You're like, okay, I really, really want to do this thing for myself. And maybe after a couple of days or a couple of weeks, you get fatigued and, doubt starts to creep in and you start to falter. And all of a sudden you're not able to stick with the program, right? This happens to everybody, right? And why I'm so curious about this and why I did a little research on the psychology of this was because I was all of a sudden, when I was turning 40 and I had been wanting to quit drinking for a really, really long time, I all of a sudden was able to do it. And I'm not sure why actually I am sure why this particular moment in time, why it clicked for me. But I wanted to understand the psychological process that I had gone through in order to get to this point in my life where all of a sudden I was not only ready to change, that I was actually able to stick to it, stay engaged, and stay inspired. And there was a lot of different factors that worked for me. And so I wanted to pull all those together for you guys today and put them into an episode so you can not only be aware of where you might be in the stages of change, but also how can you motivate yourself to kind of move from one stage to the next, to stay engaged, to stay inspired, and to continue to fuel yourself, right? So first, I'm just going to go over quickly the stages of change. It's that you might recognize what part you're in. So there's the pre-contemplation phase. This is where there's no awareness. There is no intention of changing. You're really just like, oh, if you see that and you're like, wouldn't that be nice if I could do something like that? But I have no intention of even trying. We have all been there. I have been through many stages in my life of dieting where I know I don't have the bandwidth to take on some type of new diet, right? Or some type of new thing. I did this for years, right? Where I was like, maybe I'm going to motivate to start that diet, in January or whatever it is, right? And that's why this whole journey I've been on is so unique to me because so much of this is kind of out the door now. I'm so much more able to create this positive change, create this positive energy. And I'll teach you guys how to do it here. But the next stage after pre-contemplation is contemplation. This is where you're like, okay, I have an intention. I'm going to do it. I know that at some point the scales are starting to tip in that direction and you have a plan in the future to make this change, right? Maybe you've signed up for a challenge. Maybe you've, set a date on the calendar of this is when I'm going to start this new thing, right? The next stage 3 is preparation. This is where you're like, okay, I've booked the class, I've signed up for the course, I've hired the trainer, I've hired the coach, whatever it is. You have intention and you've actually started to take some steps, right? The next stage is action. This is where the behavior change is starting to take place. This is where you are engaging with changing whatever bad habit or creating the new really good habit, right? And this part is really, really critical, right? This is when we need motivation. This is where we need inspiration. And that comes in a couple different ways. And I'm going to share that with you next. But the next stage after this, after you've been trying the new behavior and you're getting a little bit of progress and a little success, is maintenance. And this is another key phase. Again, these stages of change are not linear. You are going to be bouncing back and forth between the two. There's going to be ups and downs. And I stress this with all of my clients that progress does not mean perfection, right? We are meant to try and fail and try and fail. And it's those failures, it's those data points that are actually going to give us the foundation to learn from and to adjust and pivot and grow from. And so those are actually really, really important. Like nobody just starts this and is just like, bam, I nailed it right out the bat. That would be weird, right? That would be like, I don't know, you would be like superhuman, right? And so it's the failures that we can actually learn from and grow from. And after maintenance, there is what's called the termination phase. And this is where like you don't even need to think about the change anymore. It is completed. You don't even want to engage and there's no desire to return to the old behavior. So I am completely there with alcohol. I wouldn't say I'm totally there with like food and like the diet. There's still times where, I still believe that food is a reward in some sense, but cycle syncing has really changed my relationship with food and my body to the point where like, I no longer am like, yeah, a donut is how I should reward myself on my birthday. I used to have like a really bad habit of eating donuts on my birthday and literally making myself sick. And it was like, why do I keep doing this to myself, right? And it was like, the damn donuts. All right, so I want to really teach you here how the difference between when you are able to successfully make a change and successfully change a behavior, it really comes down to a mindset. And when it's not a number of days, a lot of people think, oh, you have to hit 30 some odd days of a new habit in order to successfully make a change. It is not the number of days that matters. What matters is when your mindset shifts, when you no longer believe that you are depriving yourself, that you are missing out on something. It's actually that you believe that you are now gaining something from this change. You feel empowered. So it's shifting from a mindset of deprived to empowered. And how do we do that, right? So a lot of what I coach is changing the subconscious programming that is keeping you stuck in this old behavior because again, it's subconscious. You're unaware that it's pulling the strings. You're consciously like desiring to make this change. I want to stop drinking. I want to take a break. But your subconscious has this huge structure sitting in below the surface. And it is like, we are conditioned to use alcohol, to use food for all of these reasons. And we are going to be whispering to you and talking to you and trying to get you to go back to that default behavior because one, it requires less energy for your brain. There's less friction. And the brain is just like, let's do this, right? It requires more energy to try the new habit. Plus, there's that pesky thing of the dopamine, right? Where it's like, our brains are tricked into believing that these things like drugs, alcohol, processed food, sugar, right? It gives us such a boost to dopamine that the brain is like, ooh, I need that to survive. I want more of that because it takes you up so high. And then your brain course corrects with that dynorphin, which is pulling you back below your baseline. It creates that craving. It says, go get more of that, right? And so that we are also fighting that. And so all of these things combined are why we really, really struggle to make change, okay? And so again, I want to get back to like, how do we cultivate an empowered state? How do you actually convince yourself that like, I am gaining something and that I want to fuel myself with this idea of a future self, right? So this is where it comes down to the energy, the type of energy we use. A lot of times when we are first initiating a change in ourselves, we can get by on willpower, right? I'm going to work out every single day this week, right? And you get up and you push yourself and you push yourself. I'm going to diet and I'm going to push myself and I'm not going to drink. You're trying to, tick all these boxes. But deep down, there's a subconscious belief that is like, it would be easier to sleep in. It would be easier to eat the carbs, and it would be a whole lot better if I could just have that drink, right? I could have that alcohol. And so deep down, that brain is pulling you back down saying, you're deprived, you're missing out, right? And so that energy, it's depleting because you are still harboring a belief that there is a benefit to these things that you're trying to avoid, these things that you're trying to deprive yourself of, you're trying to give up. Even the language we use, right, creates energy that it takes from us. And we've all experienced this. What we resist persists, right? If you are so focused on avoiding these things and giving up these things. And I'm going to do it for X amount of days, right? It takes energy. And we all know that willpower, it's a finite muscle. It eventually fails, and then we feel ashamed that we weren't able to do it. And we're like, oh, if only I was more disciplined, if only I was more, whatever. And so that is, again, something that you can shift in your mindset to a whole nother state, that to a state of feeling empowered. And this energy, when you are focused on a future self, when you are shifting your attention from what you believe you're missing out on to what you are gaining. And you're like, okay, I'm going to sleep like a baby. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be able to wake up early and feel energized. I'm going to have balanced hormones. My relationships are going to improve, right? And you really start like closing your eyes and meditating on this future self that is so much better off, that is so healthy, that is so happy, that is so energized, right? And you give your brain a future sampling of that, right? This is why manifestation works, you guys. It's because you are taking your attention, you are putting it into this future, you are crafting this future self, and you are focusing on that. And the brain does not know the difference. The brain starts to release the feel-good chemicals associated with that. And when that happens, you are now creating this neural pathway in your brain that is seeing this future self. It is fueled, it is strengthened now with all this positive brain neurochemistry. And now the brain is looking for opportunities to make this a reality. It is trying to be correct. It is trying to be right. This is confirmation bias in action, right? So we've all experienced this, right? If you tell yourself, I can't do it, this is going to suck, this is going to be hard, this is going to be awkward, your brain then is going to look for evidence to make that true. But if instead we are saying, this is going to work, I believe that this is the difference that I need right now, and this is going to take me to that next level. This is going to work for me. If you are focusing on that future self that has achieved the goal that you want and you believe it, you can't tell yourself a lie. You have to actually believe that it's possible. So when you believe it, again, the brain doesn't know the difference. It is going to start to look for opportunities to make that a reality. And when I say look for opportunities, it means all of a sudden, information that was perhaps being filtered out when you thought it wasn't possible, when you think, I can't change, I can't do this, all of a sudden you're like, it's a possibility, I can do this. It's like these blinders come off. And now information starts coming in that is going to allow you to make different choices in different situations. It's going to present these opportunities where you would have been like not open to before. And you're like, oh, okay, that's right. I don't have to drink alcohol in this particular setting, in this particular environment. There's another option, right? And it's joyful and it's just as much fun and it's great, right? When you create that possibility, simply by imagining this future self, and you know what it's fueled by? Hope. Hope is really this energy that it creates possibility for you and it can fuel you. This is why there's stories of people in like concentration camps and in these horrific situations that survived these things. When people give up hope, they die. If the people that maintain hope that actually gives energy and it fuels you. Okay, so that is the shift, that is the mindset shift that is going to keep you moving throughout these different stages of change, right? When you feel yourself faltering and you feel yourself getting stuck, perhaps check in with yourself and say, am I focused too much on what I believe I'm giving up, on what I'm sacrificing? These words, right? I'm giving up alcohol for a month. I'm opting out. I'm sacrificing. All that language, you have to check yourself too. It's like, no. I'm choosing wellness this month. I am gaining incredible sleep this month. I'm going to reverse age because I am going to allow my liver to detoxify my body and prioritize detoxing my hormones and all the other toxins in the world instead of just prioritizing booze, which is unfortunately in the summertime, everybody's like uptick in drinking because it's like, oh, it's beautiful out. I should be drinking. Oh, it's another beach day. Oh, it's another opportunity, right? So this is a time to double down on this positive momentum of this future self that you can have, right? So again, focus on what you're gaining, not what you're giving up. Okay, so how do we do this, right? You can hear me say it. You can like sit there and think, oh, this is a great idea. Thanks, Ellie. Thanks for all this information, all this science, right? That's what works for me. But the missing link, what is going to help keep this top of mind for you is community. Okay? When community stems from the environments you're placing yourself in. So we all know our environments shape us, right? Who you're around, the places that you frequent, the energy. We all tell our kids this, right? Hey, you are a culmination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. How are they influencing you, right? Would you trade places with them? Would you take advice from them, right? Do you envy their life? Do you want that for yourself? So if you are looking at the 5 people around you and they're not supporting this new life that you want, this new energy, this new health and wellness that you're after, you have to take a look at that, right? And it doesn't mean you have to cut them completely out of your life, right? But you just need to maybe shift your environment a little. And that's what I say is instead of cutting things out, why don't we add to our environment? And that's why I love so much getting into a challenge, getting into some type of program, some type of course where there is a community. It is such a key component to the success of change for people because you are now surrounding yourself with people who have like-minded goals, who are in it just like you and who are so supportive, right? I joke that like part of being in a community is like you're going on Amazon or you're going on whatever, some sort of online shopping, and you're like, oh, look, here's a review of somebody who is my size, who wears the same size as me, right? Who's tried this product and is telling me what it's about, right? So when you are in a community with somebody who's like, hey, this person has the same goals as me, this person is up against the same struggles as me, and guess what? They're trying this thing. And now they're sharing about it. They're like, hey, look at what I did. And this is what worked for me. This didn't work for me, right? And you get to learn from others. It's like instead of just this silo of you trying to learn by yourself, you have this huge group of people that is sharing their experience, that is up against the same struggles, that wants what you want and is going to cheer you on and that's going to motivate you and inspire you. And again, this is surrounding you with supportive information that is going to start to chip away at that subconscious belief that is keeping you stuck in these old patterns and these old behaviors, right? So it's like you joined a gym, right? I feel like joining a challenge or joining, some type of coaching group or whatever support group and things, it's like you joined a gym, right? But unless you actually go to the gym, unless you actually participate in the community and engage with the challenge itself, nothing's going to happen, right? It's that attention. You have to dedicate time and attention to it. And then you have to let this environment start to shape you, right? If you are going to shift from spending 30 minutes a day, online, scrolling, whatever, just wasting time, and instead and actually 30 minutes a day is way too much. If you even just spend 10 minutes a day engaging with a community that is supporting your goals, imagine the change that can happen. Imagine how much that will shift your attitude, how much that will inspire you, how much that will motivate you. I'm a member of a couple different groups online, and some I sync up better with, and some I'm just like, I'm constantly learning and inspired by these people. And I crave it. I want to tap in every day because I'm like, I need motivation, I need inspiration, and I'm constantly learning, and it's so great. Sometimes just as moms, we need this in the form of like a recipe. Like my text groups with my mom friends were like, man, I've had the same a bunch of dinners. Can somebody inspire me? Like share what you're cooking tonight for your kids, right? That is what these communities are so good at doing, right? Surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Now, one of the things what I love about this is I love to actually learn like why this is so important, why this, and I like the science behind it, right? So James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, I love his stuff. So you can use this system, the cue, craving, response, reward. This is the habit loop in our brains. You can use it to break a habit, or you can use it to engage like a new habit, to start and cultivate a new habit. And so I think participating in a challenge is kind of like creating a new habit. Like a lot of people say like, I won't sign, I'll sign up for the challenge and I'll maybe engage with it for like a couple days and then I kind of fall off and I don't participate anymore, right? How do we make it a regular part of your thing? And so checking in with the community, it's going to engage every single part of this like habit loop, right? So the cue. So everybody in the environment is going to have a lot of different cues to help you engage with this new behavior, right? So it's kind of tricky, right? It's basically again putting attention into breaking down the subconscious programming of whatever habit you're trying to break. Clearly, I'm talking about alcohol here and food, right? We're trying to learn how to cycle sync here. So what this does, the community does, is it's gonna bring it all into focus, and you're gonna say, okay, what is the cues that everybody's like struggling with? Like, oh, hey, you know what? When I get really stressed out, that's like a cue. And when my kids are like going nuts, that's a cue for me to like overeat, or in the past, it was drink, right? And that cue's a craving in my brain. The subconscious thought comes up that says, boy, a drink sure sounds good. Or you know what? You should just eat some pizza right now because you're frustrated and pissed off. So instead, that the next stage is the response. We say, okay, how can I shift that response to something that's also the behavior, the response to something that's going to be more healthy? How can I shift it to something that's also going to equally reward my brain? Because that is what the brain is after in that moment, is that dopamine boost, right? And then, which is the reward. So it's cue, craving, response, reward. So being engaged in the community is going to bring all of this stuff out into the open, and you guys get to talk about it, and you guys get to share it, and you get to post your questions and have me as a coach sometimes step in there and answer it, or some other expert or some other like person who's like, hey, I'm in there too. This is what I've been through, and this is what I'm doing. I love the community aspect of things. Another reason why I really, really love it is because at I'm an athlete and I miss being on a team. I really realize that I like thrive in a team environment. And I think that's like women love to get together in a group. And it's like the camaraderie and the energy and the support that you feel in these environments. It's like being on a team and you are all rooting for each other. There is no competition. There is no pecking order to anything. It's really just like, dude, I want to support you. I want to cheer you on. And I want to know what you're doing. What's working for you? Let's celebrate your wins. All right. And it's less about, and this goes back to that deprivation versus empowerment thing. It's like, instead of getting together and complaining or focusing on what sucks about our lives, or commiserating, or a lot of times some groups that are, you know I'll just say it, AA, it's like, let's live in the past and talk about our dark, dark sob stories. That might work for some people, but my coaching and all of the groups that I work in are all about looking towards the future. And essentially, that's what a coach does. A therapist is there to help you deal with the past. A coach is there to help you get to the future. It is about inspiring you and motivating you. It's about giving you the information that is going to support that subconscious deprogramming, taking out all those bad beliefs that are pulling you back into that old behavior, and then replacing those beliefs and motivating you and staying engaged and staying inspired. And that happens in the environment of a community of like-minded people who want the same things that you want, who are inspiring you, who are sharing what works for you. Maybe you're having a down day, but somebody in the group is having a win and they get to share that with you. Maybe you're having a slump about what to eat and you're not sure like how to like meal prep for the day. And then somebody in the group is like, yo, look at what I'm making. Like, I just threw everything together out of my fridge and I made this. Like, I can't tell you, the last balance challenge I did, the amount of recipe sharing that went on, and like, I was so motivated. I was so like, yes, that looks delicious. I'm going to make that tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to go to the store right now and I'm going to make that. Like, it is awesome to have this group at your fingertips. And I encourage you again to like, don't sit on the sidelines of these types of things. Get engaged, participate and you watch what it'll do to you. Watch, like, this is getting outside of your comfort zone. This is where all change lives. And I tell my clients this all the time. The current results that you are getting are a reflection of the environments that you're in. Your environment is shaping you, right? So if we don't change our environments, and the environment can be up here mentally, or it can be physically, right? Where are you placing yourselves? Who are the people you are working out with? Hanging out with? What are the communities you're engaging with online? What is the content you're digesting on a daily basis? Are you fueling yourself with stuff that's going to inspire you, that's going to keep the positive change that you want top of mind? Or is it taking away from you, right? Or is it, if like you're hanging out with the same group of people who do the same type of summer partying, and you're like, I'm trying to hang out with them and not drink, and all you can focus on is what's missing, the alcohol, then of course it's going to be really, really, really struggle. In fact, I have to tell my clients, like, when you are first giving up alcohol, you're kind of like a newborn baby that you don't want to bring out into public. You're like, I've got this 6-week-old baby. I'm not going to bring him out into like this super germy, toxic world where like everybody might be like coughing on him, right? You have to keep that newborn baby at home. So if you are in a stage where you are like really, really fragile with your decision to not drink, you probably have to step away from those environments that are going to be the most triggering from you. And it's okay, it's temporary, but you want to place yourself in environments that are super supportive, where people are going through what you're going through, have been where you've been, and can offer like, hey, this is what I'm doing instead. Hey, try this, try this, try this, right? It is shifting your environments. Okay, there's the mental environments, which is breaking down those subconscious beliefs, and it is your physical environments, who you're surrounding yourself, the content you're digesting, the communities you're participating in. So I love challenges because I know that when I want to do something different, I want to make a change, I can't keep doing what I'm doing and just hope my willpower is going to kick in, and that's all I needed to do. I said I was going to do it, and now I'm just going to rely on willpower to take me there. No, what in my environment am I going to change? So I'm going to go get into a group that is doing the thing that I want to do, right? Put yourself in a room with people that are also eager to go do that thing. I'm in a lot of like coaching groups, and like I'm learning how to market, all these sort of like business kind of building groups. And it is like, wow, this is so cool. And I make myself participate every single day, because every single day that's how I'm going to grow. That's how I'm going to change, because I'm not going to learn sitting down here and just trying to do the same thing I've always done, right? I have to try something new. I have to engage outside of my comfort zone and let that help me grow. Let that environment shape me. Okay? So that is what I really encourage you to do is this summer is like, I had a whole another podcast on this where like, oh, a lot of people are like, I'm not going to take on so much change over the summer. I mean, like, I'm not going to stop drinking. I'm not going to like, it's vacation time. People are partying. Even my husband, like, we're getting ready to go on a trip up to Washington where I'm from. It's 4th of July. My parents have this beach house. It's usually just like a huge party time. And he's like, oh, I'm going to, I think I'm just going to let myself like enjoy myself up there. And I was like, let's question that. So why does enjoy yourself mean drinking food, right? He's been like on this really big health kick. He's lost a bunch of weight. He looks great. But still, deep down, he feels deprived, right? He feels like he's not enjoying himself because he isn't allowing himself to have these things. And so you really have to question it. Like, why does vacation, why does celebrating, why does like, letting yourself relax and enjoy yourself, like you only live once type of energy, why does it mean let's drink the toxic drink and let's eat the food that's actually going to be really bad for my body and make you sick? And it's like, can we shift into like, how do we treat ourselves in other ways? How do we give ourselves joy, enjoyment from things that actually aren't going to damage us, right? And I'm not saying you have to be so gnarly strict with everything. I'm definitely not, but you have to question those beliefs when they come up, especially in summertime. Like, why can't you make this change in summer? Because it's too much fun, right? I'm going to miss out. You have to question that stuff. Why do you believe you're missing out if you don't drink this substance or if you don't eat that crappy food or whatever it is, right? Change is hard, no doubt, but it's easier when you put yourself in an environment with people who are also motivated to do the same thing. Keep it top of mind. Listen to the podcast, listen to the Quit Lit books, engage, get a coach, get in a community, tap into these worlds where you can surround yourself and let it shape you. What's the goal you have? Put yourself in an environment where other people are chasing that goal. It is a game changer. It is a super hack. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You don't have to pull all this energy out by yourself. Go utilize the people around you, right? And tap into it. It is such a really, really beautiful energy resource that is right there at your fingertips. So, of course, you know what I want you to do? I want you to get into that balance challenge, you guys. It starts 1 week. Is it 1 week from today? No, it starts on July 3rd, but I'm in the last week push to get people to sign up. It is only $48. If you are a repeat or what I'd like to call a veteran to the Balance Challenger, you get a $20 off discount code. Check your email. I sent that out. If you want to become an affiliate, that means you tag a friend, you get your friend to sign up. You also can make $20 back. So you can, for $48, if you refer 2 friends that sign up, it's only an $8 challenge. That's incredible, right? Or if you refer 3 friends, you start making money. You can make money off my course while you're learning to balance your hormones, while you're taking a break from alcohol. People keep asking me, and I want to be super truthful about the Balance Challenge. Yes, technically, Balance Challenge is an alcohol-free challenge. I'm gonna inspire you. I'm gonna motivate you. I'm gonna give you lots of science and content to help you start making those behavior changes. But I'm not checking in on you. I am not requiring you to tell me how many days you went alcohol-free and things like that. If you want that, that's the Brave course, right? But or one-on-one coaching if you are hyper motivated and you want to get in and be like, I want to knock this out. That's the one-on-one coaching. But the hormone balancing that is in this Balance Challenge, you can really only balance your hormones if you are alcohol free. Alcohol is affecting your cortisol. It is affecting your insulin. It is affecting your sleep. Those 3 things are so critical to your hormone balance. So when you are drinking wine, when you're drinking alcohol throughout the summer, you can't just be like, well, I only had 2 glasses and I only did it 2 nights a week. I'm sorry. It's just causing havoc, and not just for that moment in time when you drink. It lingers in your system. There is a cascade, a domino effect in your brain chemistry, in your gut health, in your endocrine system. It affects everything. So unfortunately, it's kind of like you can do it. You can say you know what, I'm still going to try to balance these hormones. I'm going to start and I'm going to continue to work on the alcohol. Let that be a goal. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. It is the hardest habit to break. Don't get me wrong. But being motivated by balancing your hormones can sometimes be that extra push that women need. They're like, I'm doing all of the things right. I'm managing, I'm exercising, I'm eating organic foods, I'm taking care of my protein requirements, my fiber requirements, I'm minimizing my sugar, but my hormones are still all over the place and I'm feeling awful, right? It's time to check out the booze. And so that could be the final straw. Balancing your hormones, if that is your goal, if you want to feel better in perimenopause and you're still drinking alcohol, it might be the thing that you need to tackle. And believe me when I tell you, you are not giving up anything. You are gaining everything. It is the single best thing I have done for my health. That's why I am a coach. I'm still so inspired, and I will continue to shout it from the rooftops. Public service announcement to all women. Alcohol is wrecking your health. It's in the way, and there's no shame in wanting to take a break. There's no shame in struggling with taking a break, okay? It's an addictive substance, and that's why I put so much of this mindset work into my programs so that we can take you from feeling deprived to feeling empowered, to fueling yourself with this goal of this future self that is living alcohol-free with their hormones balanced, that is sleeping like a baby, that is reversed age, that has energy for days, whose relationships have improved. You name it, it's going to filter out, it's going to trickle down in a positive fashion to every single aspect of your life. I am 3.5-ish years alcohol free, and it is still rippling out in ways I couldn't only have ever imagined. I could never have imagined, right? And I want that for you. Like I am so inspired. If anything, my coaching program is all about inspiring you, engaging you, and motivating you. I like being a part of a team. I like being a coach, and this is what I'm meant to do. It's my purpose. So I hope you join me. So check out the Balance Challenge on my website. The last day to sign up, the doors will close July 3rd. It's only $48. You can join the affiliate program and start referring friends out and make $20 per friend who signs up. So I hope you join me. I can't wait to see you there. Thank you so much, as always, for being here. I am so honored and grateful for those who join me. So until then, I'm with you. You got this. Hey, you've just listened to an episode of Find Myself Free. And if some part of this left you wanting more, if your curiosity has been piqued and your intuition is telling you, I'm ready for more, then check out my coaching offers at findmyselffree.com. I have the Brave course to help you break free from booze. And I designed this course with the exact lessons that led to my transformation. I also have the Balance Challenge for those ready to learn the art of cycle syncing to balance their hormones. If you're looking for additional support and to take either of these programs to the next level, I also offer one-on-one coaching. Now, I worked with a coach for 4 months at the start of my alcohol-free journey, and it made all the difference. Being able to talk to someone who knew what I was going through and could help me navigate my new world gave me a foundation of support I could build on. And it's a big reason why I'm a coach today. I want to help others find their freedom and level up their health. If this sounds good to you, connect with me at findmyselffree.com and set up a call. Listen to your intuition that is telling you you were meant for more. I am with you. You got this.